Welcome back to Black Man Problems. I am Anthony Brown.
And I am Ciaran Callan. Today, basically, we are talking about the original Black Man problem.
Yes.
Which is all of the issue that's going on with regards to Black Lives Matter, really.
Yes.
Black Lives Matter being a movement / hashtag / angry presence in society, which started... It's about 5 years ago when Trayvon Martin was murdered by George Zimmerman, and has now basically exploded into the public once again due to the deaths of Alton, the guy who was murdered while selling CDs, and then Philando Castile, who was also recently murdered as well, a man who was basically in the car with his wife, or with his girlfriend.
Wrong. And she documents this whole thing from her camera phone after he was shot. And she kind of just goes over the whole thing. She said, "Officer, you asked for him to get out his license for his gun, and then you gunned him down." And if you haven't seen the video, we're going to play it now.
It's a graphic video, but
yeah, very graphic.
Such is reality and such is life, really.
So if you really don't want to see this, turn away now. But we're going to show you because we feel we've got to have to. So take a look at it.
Stay with me. We got pulled over for a busted tail light in the back. And the police just, he's covered. They killed my boyfriend. He's licensed. He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for a back. I will, sir. No worries. I will. He just shot his arm off. We got pulled over on Larpener.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are. Please don't tell me this, Lord. Please, Jesus, don't tell me that he's gone. Please don't tell me that he's gone. Please, officer, don't tell me that you just did this to him. You shot 4 bullets into him, sir. He was just getting his license and registration, sir.
So what do you think happened there?
Okay, so there's 2 issues that go on with all of these police shootings. So number 1, there's the fact that the police shoot black people.
Yeah.
And number 2, there's the fact that once they do murder black people, 90% of the time they actually get off the charge, like nothing actually happens. So there's 2 things. There's a corruption issue, but then there's a sort of deeper societal issue as well. And
the unconscious bias,
yes,
where every white cop seems to feel like every black man is already dangerous and going to kill them.
Well, the unconscious bias is something that's very true and something we could actually speak about. So, for instance, there are tests that they've done, say, when they're doing, they have the police officers going through the training simulators, and they'll have them, like, wandering through and, like, shooting people. They shoot the black, like, suspects quicker than the white ones when they're going through these training simulators, and they do it more often, number 1. Number 2, there's something called the Harvard racism test.
Yeah.
Anyone can actually find this, like Google it, basically Harvard racism test. It's a test that scientists at Harvard put together, and basically what they do is they show you pictures of different types of people, and then they ask you to link those pictures to different traits. So they'll show you a picture of a black guy and say, link that to virtuous, and they'll show you a picture of a white guy, say, link that to virtuous. People generally have a much harder time linking black people to those positive traits, but it's very easy to link it to negative.
But I'm gonna say this doesn't always just stay with white people being racist. These are some things that black people will even do. So the unconscious bias, it doesn't work just one way where white people are being racist toward. But I have to say that because I'm not just saying all white people are, unconsciously biased to black people being negative. It's something that black people do as well that we all need to learn from. So that's what an unconscious bias is as well. But when a police officer who is white has an unconscious bias looking at a black man, they become the dangerous people basically, because this guy was in a car. He announced first, by the way, I have a weapon. He was already like letting him know he was doing the right thing by like, just so you know, I don't want to surprise you, I've got a weapon in my car, but I'm licensed to have it. So the police officer then says, okay, let me see but he's already got the gun on him though.
Well, this is it.
Let me see your license. So then what would you do as a normal human being? You go, okay, just so you know, I'm going to reach for the license in my pocket now, which I've got. I'm reaching for it, and then boom, boom, 4 times in his arm, shot. Now what? That's obviously a mistake there. There's no way you should be able to get out of that, get away with it in court. That should just be straight. You effed up there. What are the consequences going to be for that?
Yeah,
now?
well, it is bad, and obviously the police in America need to basically that it's like they have like an old boys club where like they're a really tightly knit unit, and it's like once you're in and you're a member of the police, it's like we keep everything in house and we protect our own, which is why they do the stuff that they do, which I feel is terrible, but that is something that you could fix reasonably quickly.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, you just have to like legislate and say, oh, rather than have the police actually...
The local
rather than having the local police do a investigation when one of their own like shoots some random guy, have it move it up to the federal
courts.
Which is kind of obvious, but at the same time, it's like the societal unconscious bias that many non-black people watching feel really uncomfortable actually hearing about. That's actually what needs to change, although it is actually changing though. So when people complain about this issue and like it's all going around on social media, it annoys me. It does, because I feel like that could be me, but at the same time it's like, I remember I live in England. Shocker of horrors. You'd never think, given my accent, that I might live in England, but I do, actually. Yes, I is English. But, like, when I was growing up, people would say, oh, go back to your own country. What are you doing in this country? People used to say that to me growing up. Nobody says that to me anymore. When I was 14, it was embarrassing to walk the streets with a white girl. I mean, people still have some issues.
Not embarrassing in the fact that you were embarrassed, but it was uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. People would have had a go at you, basically.
Yeah. You wouldn't have felt completely comfortable walking with a white girl. Like no one's going to bat an eyelid. No. Whereas now, it's the norm.
Kind of cool. Like, I was tapped by racists a couple of times growing up, but people don't do that shit. It's like the world is actually getting better.
Yeah.
And so, like, while like black people in America are being like gunned down by the police now, like in the 50s and 60s, it's like if I looked at a white woman in America, I'm getting hung from a tree and everyone's watching. Everyone, like the whole town would just turn up and say,
this is something I want to talk about. Like, what I don't understand is in that time, everybody couldn't have been that evil. There had to be handfuls of people that were just like, nah, that's not right.
Well, there were.
But
there were pocketfuls.
Yeah. And I feel like they even more than pocketfuls. There should have been like loads of people that were like, guys, we can't be standing around watching this. What, you're just murdering people?
Human beings are very malleable. You can program a human being to believe pretty much anything, which is why you get like members of ISIS who are like, Allah, and then they blow themselves up, thinking that they're going to go to heaven and get 70 odd virgins or so, and then which is why you get atheists who are like, no, there's no God whatsoever, and I don't believe in any of that rubbish. Yeah. You can get a human being to believe anything if you just tell them it's true. We inherently love to pick teams, and we suffer from in-group, out-group thinking, which basically means that human beings will like ally themselves to a group, and they'll see people who aren't part of that group as being different and therefore like not as good as members of their own group. Now you can choose your group down to any criteria you want. Your group can be people who are into fitness. Your group can be people of the same skin tone. It can be people of the same skin color. It can be people who use the same phone. It can be people who support the same football team. But in-group, out-group thinking does exist, and it's like the backbone kind of like the way humans actually organize themselves. So when you add in-group, out-group thinking to those people are actually like subhuman, then you get situations whereby like black people were being lynched years ago and just freaking murdered. There's pictures. In fact, we're going to post up a picture right now. Some black guy from the 1950s being hung in America, and the whole town is just there.
You know, when you look back now at these photos, like the one we talked about with the black man being hung and from people standing around from a tree and people all around looking at it, there had to be a few people around who just thought, this is insane, this is wrong. And when we look back at it now, there's so many people that look back at that and go, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. But do you want to be one of the people in the pictures of today in 50 years time where you were standing around doing nothing about it, and other people are going to be saying in 50 years time, I can't believe that black guys and women were getting shot and gunned down willy-nilly and nobody was doing nothing about it at the time. Do you know what I mean? You want to be one of the people that was like, now, I said from the start, and I was actively doing something to make a change. Whereas I know in like 50 years time or so, or even longer it might take, we're going to look back at these days and go, oh my God, can you believe that was actually happening then? That moment is we're in that moment now. We're in a modern day version of that black man hanging from the tree with all the people standing around watching it. And we need to change that very quickly because we are more educated and yet nothing's been done about it. And it's because of the whole justice system. So when they're being found out to doing something wrong, when they've shot someone down in cold fucking blood, nothing's happening.
The anger about the situation that we see all around us, where I've got, say, like non-black Facebook friends that are passionately posting about this on Facebook. That is like society changing.
Yeah, definitely.
That's it right there.
Like the turning point is definitely now. Definitely now, especially after in 2011, where what's the name of the boy who Trayvon Martin was shot dead by not even a police officer. That was someone who was like a neighborhood watch.
And the man was not sent to prison.
Nothing, and it took a long time. It went through the courts and things changed.
I was almost Trayvon Martin.
Really?
I do no word of a lie as well. Yeah. So basically, when I was 14, I've never forgotten this. I guess it must have really shook me up. But basically, I'm walking around through Birmingham city centre, and I've got a piece of blue tack in my hand. I'm just twiddling with blue tack, kind of thing I used to do when I was a kid. And then I see this girl, and she's maybe like 18, 19 or so, and she goes to some guy like, "Oh my God, what's he got on him?" And then the guy walks up to me, he's like, "Oi, what the fuck you got in your hand?" And then I showed him, like, and he approaches me as well. He's like bigger than me. He's like, he may be 20 years old, and he approaches me with violent intent. And then I showed him the blue tack because I'm just, and she's like, "Oh my God, he hasn't got anything." He's like, "Yeah, all right, you can go." But he was ready to defend himself against this like violence.
Jesus.
But you know, I've got other incidents have happened like that as well. But you know.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the kind of thing that. Well, the thing is, the reason why we're lucky, I say we're lucky in the UK, is because we don't have such a high gun crime or guns influence in this country. We're not selling guns on the street to 17-year-olds. From the age of 17, it's okay in some states in America to own and walk with a weapon on the streets.
That's a bit young.
That's young. I hope I got that right. I'm pretty sure it's 17. To legally have a weapon. I think that was in the state where...
one thing I think needs to happen about basically changing this whole mentality around black people. Well, black people also have their part to play as well. Well, I think like some black people anyway. Like things like gangster rap, hip-hop culture doesn't really help us at all, you know. Because it's like, okay, remember in like one of our earlier episodes we spoke about Notorious B.I.G. saying money, hoes and clothes, all a nigga knows. Yeah. Like, people are seeing that.
I get that, but like at the same time, you've got to have a freedom of speech in some sort of way. Like we can't kind of mute ourselves because what white unconscious bias cops might do to us. I guess, we don't help ourselves in... I think we don't help ourselves in the fact of just carrying a weapon as a black person. If you know right now it's not very healthy for black male to have a weapon on them in the street or in the car or whatever, just don't fucking have it. They're not deterrents for violence. They are encouraging it in my opinion, because we don't have that kind of black man being gunned down because we don't have legalization of weapons.
No, I hear you, but basically saying is like a huge part of the way that we're represented is actually through things that aren't necessarily that, what is the word I'm looking for? Like positive. Again, like the sort of like gangster culture. Yeah. And
just gangster culture, just period, that's not helping us.
Like I say, I mean, money, hoes and clothes, or a nigger knows. It's not helping the issue.
I don't know what it is that's got white policemen so scared of black males, because I'd love to know what the stats are to the ratio even to black men killing police officers to white police officers killing black males? What is the ratio of that? Because you would think that it was an all-time high, like police officers are getting killed willy-nilly, so that's why they're so jumpy when they meet a black person in the car who might have a weapon. But that isn't the case. I'm pretty sure it isn't the case. So why are they getting gunned down so fast? Why are they so scared? There's no reason. So I don't even think society portrays black men that badly. It is bad, but not so bad that you don't even give him, you don't even take a little bit of a risk to let him pull out his, do you know what I mean? His whatever you call it, his license. What had him so scared? We need to talk about Alton, who was shot down. We haven't spoke about the implications of how that went down. So he was tackled down straight away at the scene. He wasn't told why he was being tackled down. Apparently someone had called and said, I've seen someone with a gun, he's having, I don't know, implication with someone or whatever. What the police officers should have done, arrived on the scene and said, hi, we've heard someone by your description has been, I don't know, having a dispute with another person around here. Have you been having a dispute, sir? No, I haven't, officer. They could have talked about it, do you know what I mean? They could have talked about it. They didn't do that. They came bowling in, tackled him to the ground, 2 men, and then all of a sudden you see a gun come out saying, if you don't keep still, or if you don't turn around, I swear to God. And then before you know it, bum, 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 6 shots.
And
6.
Those police officers, in that moment, they felt, I genuinely believe that they felt scared. Like, they weren't like cold, clinical, sort of like, yeah, let's execute this guy because he's black. Like, they were genuinely fearful.
They saw a big black guy
Yeah.
on the ground, and they just...
Well, the thing is, I bet in their head, they didn't even see like a big black guy. They just saw a scary person.
Yeah, they did.
They saw a scary person for certain reasons, but they just saw a scary person, and then they acted. But you know what, though? World, America, UK, you're getting better all the time. And I personally have no doubt whatsoever that by the time I'm an old man, by the time we're old, this will be a thing of the past.
It has to be.
It is. Like,
It has to be, and it has to happen now. Really, they have to make some major changes to the way the court system.
We're changing it now, like literally me and you.
Yeah.
There are people right now who I know have seen
I
our
hope so.
videos and they've gone, 2 black guys having intelligent conversations.
Yeah.
Like, we're actually making
they're
that
not
change.
demons.
Yeah,
I don't
but
need to shoot them
literally-
at first account.
Literally, that will have happened.
Well, I hope it does.
Yeah.
I really hope it does.
And to those people, if any of you have chosen to become fans, if we've like helped to transform your image of what, you know, us Negroes are capable of, then thank you. Like,
Stop killing black people.
stop killing black people.
Black lives do matter.
They do matter.
Okay, they are killing white people too, but they're just killing us way, way, way more. It's like someone's made a bet. You know what? I bet you we can get rid of all the blacks in 2 years' time. How are you going to do that? Just going to keep killing them. No one's going to do nothing. And that's what's happening. I feel like no one's doing nothing. No one's been reprimanded. Anyway, I'm not going to rant no more.
Yeah.
Black lives matter.
Black lives
This
matter.
has been Black Man.
We're Homo sapiens too. If you cut us, we bleed.
Exactly.
We're actually the
They
same
bleed.
colour on the inside. Still red. What the fuck, man?
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Oh, what the fuck is that from?
Predator.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if it bleeds, we can kill it. If they bleed, we can kill them.
Mate, if they talk, we can kill them. That's what they're saying. If they look at us, we can kill them. If they reach for their fucking license, we can kill them.
License. If they're walking home carrying their packet of Skittles,
We
which
can
is what
kill them.
Trayvon Martin was doing, carrying Skittles.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah, he was carrying sweets. I think it's Skittles, but sweets.
Oh
yeah.
no, we can't carry no sweets.
Yeah.
Mm.
No.
Anyway, bye.
There, I was given ecstasy for the first time.
Right.
And truth be told, it basically blew my mind.